Guys, for our lesson today, we are actually going to be looking at an extended response question. So if you're in the Google Meet, you'll be able to work with partners to be able to complete this. If you're not in the Google Meet, then you'll have to do the button doll paper on your own, and then we're going to talk about it tomorrow in our Google Meet. So our assignments for today are the button doll page, and you'll see what that is in just a minute. Practice set, it's a lot of multiplication problems. And then for you to play some equivalent fractions on Everyday Math website. So we're looking at playing that game to get some practice with fractions. So our goal for today is I can persevere and think carefully to solve a number story using words and picture. So persevere means to keep going. Even though things may get difficult, we got to keep going and trying different ways to solve it. Like we found out yesterday with our math, there can be so many different ways to solve a problem. Just one multiplication problem, we had at least 5 different ways. So we got to keep pushing, even when it's difficult and we're not sure what to do next. Try to think of another way to go about it. The first thing that we're going to do is look at a review question for evaluate. So this question, only 3 of 29 students answered this correctly. And the big thing with this is that it is a 2-step problem. And this can be very difficult because we have to think of what we have to do first, and then there's another step to it. So we might have to multiply first and then add something later, or divide something first and then subtract something later. So these 2-step problems can be very difficult, but we have our cube strategy that we're going to use to help us go through each step and make sure that we are getting all of the information and going and answering all parts of it. So Sierra had 30 mini dolls. She took 6 for herself and then split the mini dolls that were left into 2 groups. To find the number of mini dolls that are in each group, Tegan subtracted 6 from 30, then divided the answer by 2. Deanna divided 30 by 2, then subtracted 6. Who correctly determined the number of mini dolls in each group? So we kind of have to do this one where we're going to go through and we're going to solve this, but I want to find the answer for what Tegan did and for what Deanna did. So we need to know what both of them did to be able to solve this. And I have to think about what would I do. So when I look at this, I can see the numbers 30 mini dolls, 6, and 2. Now, that's the original problem. I'm going to use a different color to show you what each of these did. So Tegan had 6 and 30 and 2. And then Deanna had the same numbers, 32 and then 6. So it's tricky because we have to look at both parts. We have to look at what both students did. So we've circled our numbers. Underlining the question, it's kind of a weird question for this one. Who correctly determined the number of mini dolls in each group? So we're trying to figure out that number. We're going to box in our keywords. So one of the keywords that I see is took. I see split. I see left in there. To look at how Tegan is looking at it, I'm going to go back to my red pen. And Tegan subtracted, divided. Okay. Looking at what Deanna did, I'm going to put it in my blue pen. And Deanna divided and then subtracted. Okay. So I think what I want to do is figure out what Tegan did and then what Deanna did, and then I want to figure out what I would do. So that's my evaluating piece. So I'm going to go with Tegan first, and I'm going to solve for Tegan. It says Tegan subtracted 30 from 6. So I'm going to say 30 minus 6. And I can't do 0 minus 6 because I can't take 6 away from 0. So I'm going to do some trading. Instead of having 3 tens, I'm going to have 2 tens and then 10 ones. Now I can take away 10 minus 6, and that's 4. And then 2 minus nothing is 2. So after Sierra took away her 6, she's left with 24. The next step is dividing it by 2. So Tegan did 24 divided by 2, and that's what he gets. So when I look at this, I'm thinking about splitting my 24 into 2 equal groups. One way that I could do it is to draw my circles and split them out. Another way that I could think about it is thinking about it as a multiplication number sentence. 2 times something equals 24. If you can think about it like that, you could solve it that way. So when I go through it, I learn that each of them will have 12. Each of them will have 12 mini dolls. So 24 divided by 2 is 12. Tegan found out that there are 12 mini dolls. So I'm going to look at what Deanna did, and she divided by 30 by 2. So she started out and she said 30 divided by 2. And again, I can split it into 2 equal groups. And when I do that, I'm going to find out that there will be 15 in each. So when I split them out, that is 15. So after she divided them, there are 15. Then she subtracted 6. So my next number sentence is going to be 15 minus 6, and that equals 9. So I have 2 very different answers for them. I have 12 and I have 9. So now I need to decide who's right. So when I look at this, I'm going to go back to the original problem and I'm going to think about the order that things happened. When I see this, it says she took out 6. That's the first thing she did. So for me, I think I'm going to go with 30 minus 6, and that leaves me with 24. Then, this word then tells me the next step. She split them into 2 groups. That means split means divide. So 24 divided by 2 equals 12. That's how I would have solved it, so I agree with Tegan. So at the bottom where we put in the answers, it says select. You would have the option of Tegan or Deanna. So in this case, I would say Tegan correctly determined the number of mini dolls in each. The number of mini dolls in each group was, you would be able to select, we said that was 12. So when I look at this problem, there were so many things that I had to do. I have writing all over the place. I had to use my cube strategy to figure out what I wanted to do. I had to figure out what Tegan did. I had to figure out what Deanna did. And then I had to decide for myself, what would I do? Once I figured out who I agreed with, I came up with my answer, and I found that 12 was the one that I agreed with. So this was a multi-step problem, not just 2 steps. There were many steps to solving this one. All right, so moving into our lesson, this is on page 183 in your math journal. You're going to need to open up your math journal and do this on your page as I'm doing it. So I need to be making sense of a problem. Again, this is a number story, so I'm going to be using cubes is one thing that I probably am going to be using. It says, there are 10 children on Maurice's baseball team. The coach gives each child 2 granola bars from a package of 24. The coach gets the leftover granola bars. How many granola bars does Maurice's coach get? What do you need to find out? We're going to use pictures to show what we know about the problem and how to solve it. So my first question is, what do I understand after reading the story? What is it that we're being asked to find? What did you do to solve it? And then what's the answer? So this piece right here is the cubes. This one, or the C, tell me what we know. The C here. The B is also what are we being asked to do. The E is what are we doing to solve it. And then solving it is what's the answer. So I know for cubes, I'm going to circle my numbers. 10 children, they each get 2 granola bars from a package of 24. And then coach gets the leftover. So my question is, what do you need to know? Or what do you need to, sorry, that's not my question. It is a question, but I need to find out how many granola bars Maurice's coach gets. When I look at this, I need to find some math keywords. It says he gives. When he gives something away, he's taking something away from him. It also talks about he gives each child. So they're each getting 2. I might do multiply. And there's a package of 24. So there's a total of 24. So I need you to think about how I'm going to solve this. I think what I want to do is to draw my package of 24. Because he starts with 24. But there's 10 kids and they each get 2. So I'm drawing out some pictures to kind of help me figure out what to do. So I have my 10 kids. They each get 2 granola bars. So if they each get 2, I can write a number sentence to match this. 10 times 2, and that equals 20. So he gave 20 granola bars to the kids on the team. He had 24. So if he had 24 to start off and then he gives 20 away, that tells me I need to do 24 minus what he gave away is 20. And 24 minus 20 is 4. So he gave 20 away, he's left with 4. My 2 multi-step number stories would be 10 times 2 and 24 minus 20. Okay, this is what you're going to be doing on your own. And we're going to go through it, and then I'm going to let you guys kind of solve this on your own. So we're going to read the number story together. We're going to talk about what we're doing in this, draw it on paper, and then on the next page, you're going to be able to solve the problem. So the directions say, read the problem below. Think about what you understand from the story. Tanya is making button dolls for the school fair. On each doll, she uses 2 buttons for the eyes, 1 button for the nose, and 3 buttons for the clothes. There are 8 buttons in each package. Tanya needs to buy a package of buttons so that all of the buttons will be used without any left over. How many packages could she buy? How many dolls will she make? So there's a lot in this one. I want to look at using cubes. So you might need to write this on your page, the cubes. I know that there's 2 buttons, 1 button, 3 buttons, and then 8 buttons. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to underline my question. how many packages could she buy? But I also need to know how many dolls will that make? There are 2 questions to this problem. I'm going to look for my math words. So each doll uses 2 buttons, 4 eyes, 1 for the nose, 3 for the clothes. There are 8 buttons in each package. She needs to buy buttons and packages so that there will be none left over. So we can't have any left over. And I want to know what she can do. So the first thing is I want to look at what this might look like, what a doll would look like. So on my little doll, I'm going to draw 2 buttons for the eyes, 1 button for the nose, and 3 buttons for her clothes. So each paper doll uses 6 buttons, but each package has 8 buttons in it. So this is each package. Okay. I need to know how many packages she needs to buy with none left over. So if she buys 1 package and she uses 6, she's going to have 2 left over. So she can't just buy 1 package. You're going to work on this and drawing your picture. Like I said, you are going to answer it on the back. So you're going to use words and pictures to show how you solved it in this space here. Maybe draw your pictures of your dolls, draw the packages of buttons, and then you're going to need to answer the question, how many packages does she need to buy, and how many dolls can she make with those packages? After you finish this page, you are going to work on the practice set page, and then you have your EDM games to play.